So we'll do a basic surface model here. So we've started the program. Now we're going to go ahead and go to up here, this little arrow, and see this pin. We're just going to pin it in place because we're going to use this toolbar a lot. So it'll keep file and insert and all of these things here. So now we're going to go to, oh my gosh, this is difficult. Okay. These planes right here. So these are your different planes. You have front plane, top plane, and right plane. So I'm going to right click on each of these and then hit the little I for show because I want to know exactly what I'm dealing with. So I'm going to go ahead and start creating what's called a sketch. So it'll be a two-dimensional thing. So I'm going to right click on the plane I want to draw on, and then I'm going to hit sketch. So I'm going to just arbitrarily draw a line. Let's say like it'll be 5 inches wide. So I drag it, click it, hit 5, goes to 5 inches. Here it'll be 2 inches. Here we're gonna use the simple draw feature where it connects the line automatically, and boom. So it highlights this little blue box. So I just did right click select there to end it. So it highlights this little blue box, which means it's a complete surface. Now I'm gonna hide these planes because at this point I know what I'm drawing. I know where I want to draw it. I don't need these anymore to help me out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new plane above this because my goal is to make a rectangle, just a box, a rectangular prism. So we're going to make another plane. We're going to copy the sketch up there. So I'm going to click on the very edge of this plane with a left click button, hold it, then click Control, and then drag while still holding your mouse. So you can see this arrow pops up. You get a green message here that says fully defined, and that's good because it means that it knows how to orient the plane in space. This little D1 means offset distance. So I'm going to offset this by, let's say, 10 inches. Oh, there it is. That's a little bit too far, so let's offset it by like 2 inches. Make it a little bit more in scale. So I'm going to click the check mark. And I'm going to exit the sketch because we're actually still sketching on this top plane here. So exit, that blue highlight will go away. Now I want to copy the sketch up here. So I'm just going to right click on plane 1, sketch. I'm going to hit the space bar, and then I'm going to click on the orientation that I want. And this brings us to the top down view. So now you hit the line button, and then we just trace right over this. So it's worth noting that these lines that we're drawing right now are dependent on the lines down here. So if you delete these lines down here, the one I just highlighted in blue, you'll have a problem up here because it doesn't know what to do anymore because its whole existence is based off of this line. So I'm going to exit the sketch. And since we're drawing a surface, what we want to do is connect these two. So to bridge two planes that are in 2 dimensions, we use what's called a 3D sketch. So we drop down the sketch menu, go to 3D sketch, and then you're going to click line. And now I'm just going to click on the points that I want to connect, like that. I'm going to right click, select ends the line, do another one. Actually, first I'm going to exit the sketch. Then I'll start a new 3D sketch. Then I'll do line from here to here. Right click, select, end the sketch, start a new sketch. Here to here. We're just going to repeat this one more time. 3D sketch, line. I go here to here, and boom, we have a box. So I'm going to exit this 3D sketch here. So we have a kind of like what they call a wireframe, and this just shows your box without any surfaces on it. So we want to fill this in. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to, there's 2 ways to do this. You can go to Insert, and then you can go to Surface, and then it gives you all of these options like Fill. Or you can go to Analysis Preparation, click on Surfaces, and then click Filled Surface. It's the same thing. So patch boundary, it just wants to know the boundary of what you're filling. So I want to fill in a rectangle, so that's my boundary, is the rectangle. So I click it, turns yellow, check mark. And we're going to go ahead and do that for all of these. You just have to click. Oh, sorry, hang on. Clear this one. So it takes the boundaries as whatever sketch. So you remember how we did different sketches? This was the first sketch. This was the second sketch. This was the third, is these two lines, and this is the fourth, these two lines. So you have to do it kind of strategically to fill it in. So we do the first two sketches. Now we'll move in order of the other ones. So I'll fill this. I'll click that line. I'll click that line. Fill that. And then that line, that line, that line, and fill that. And then we can go ahead and finish this up. We should have one more over here. Fill, why am I not there? It's... Okay, so this is an extremely basic shape. So if you're trying to simulate something really basic, that's how this is what a surface is. Now you'll notice here that each of these faces is separate. I can click on each one and it'll highlight just that face. What we're going to want to do is actually combine all these faces together. And the reason is when we create a mesh in Star CCM, it's going to, if these are separate faces, it's going to mesh each face separately. And that's not what we want to do. We want the properties of all of this box to be added together in one continuous way. So in order for that to happen, the faces have to be all one part. So we're going to go to the analysis preparation, then click down on surfaces and do what's called knit surface. So this is a really powerful tool. You can see I already had face one selected, so it shows up here. I'm going to actually right click and hit clear selections. Then I'm just going to drag a box around all of these like that. And it will select everything that's inside of that box, whether you can see it or not from your angle. So there's two options here, create solid and merge entities. I like to click both to see what happens. Sometimes it will reject it for one reason or another, but I'm going to hit OK. And now you can see when you click on this, wait, hang on one sec here, sorry. Wow, my plan failed. Look at that. Huh. Let's try that one more time. Let's just do merge. Huh, okay, strange. Well, it's not doing it this time, but I'm going to assume that it worked. So even though these are still selecting as one part, they should all be one continuous property. There we go, now you can kind of see it. So I click on this, you can see it's highlighted the entire thing. All of these corners and everything are blue, which says that, okay, this is all one part. So it worked, it's just displaying differently than I remember. So we're going to want to save our file, obviously. So I hit save. We can save it as a solid part. But more importantly, if you're going to work in Star CCM, you need to save it as a different file type. So I save it as what's called a parasolid, which is .x_t. So we click parasolid, save it, all bodies. And now it's ready to be thrown into Star CCM. And like I said earlier, if you were to cut this in half, you would just notice that it is a three-dimensional surface, and it actually doesn't have any thickness to it at all. So that wraps up the portion